Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new match review here on the channel. My name is James, and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about Reading's 0-0 draw at the Select Car Leasing Stadium against Exeter City. That's right, the Royals have made it 7 games unbeaten as they went ahead and drew and gained a point in the vital playoff race. Really though, Reading should have came away with nothing, especially with that second half performance. I thought it was absolutely dreadful from Reading in that final 45. I thought the first half, Reading were the better of the two sides, but the second half, Exeter were definitely the team on top. Now, in terms of the starting 11 that Noel Hunt went with today, we saw an unchanged team from the one that played against Wigan, as Joel Pereira continued to play in goal. Tavonge Rashisha, Amadou Mbenge, Tyler Bindon and Andre Garcia were in the back four. Charlie Savage, Lewis Wing and Harvey Nibbs were the midfield three, while Billy Bowden and Mamadi Kamara were out wide. Finally, Jaden Wareham was the sole striker. I've got to say, in the first half, like we said, Reading were the better of the two teams, and the man that was pulling all the strings for me in that first 45 was Billy Bowden. He was getting a lot of space out on that right-hand side, and every time Reading was switching the ball, he looked a threat. Whether it was a cross that was maybe a shot that went across the goalkeeper that was forced to be saved, or whether it was a volley first time from a fantastic ball from Charlie Savage, which was just blocked in time by an Exeter player. Billy Bowden, for me, had the best opportunities in that first half for Reading. Reading had a few corners, actually. I've got to be honest, Reading had the most corners I can remember them having in that first half for a very long time, and really should have capitalised on the momentum they had in the first half. I thought Reading, like we said, were the much better team, and the statistics show that as well. I think it was 7 shots to just the 1 from Exeter, and Reading were on top for the majority of that 45, but failed to really create anything that was a massive threat to the goal of Exeter. And unfortunately for Reading, went into the half-time break at 0-0. Exeter will probably go on to say that they should have come away with all 3 points, and I'm going to be honest, they definitely should have. Exeter came out in the second half and were the miles better side than Reading. Lots of crosses were coming into the box, low, dangerous and hard. And I'm going to be honest, if Exeter had a player that could finish the ball, they would have come away with the win today. Really, they should have scored 2 or 3 in that second half. Lots of chances were missed. I'm not going to go into specific details about absolutely all of them because it's late at night. I'm going to be honest, the missus wants to go to bed. So I've got to film this very quickly. But look, lots of chances in that second half of the Grecians, and really they should have put the game to bed. Reading had some vital blocks in there, whether it was Tyler Bindon putting his body on the line, whether it was Andy Yeardom who came off the bench in the second half putting his body on the line. Reading made lots of vital blocks in that second half. Joel Pereira as well had a very good performance today, whether it was him cutting crosses out, whether it was him making big saves. Pereira definitely was Reading's best player on the pitch today. In terms of other players on the pitch, I thought Andre Garcia had a really poor game today. I thought he was pretty poor when actually making just the simple things like passes that were maybe 5 yards in front of him, or passes that were maybe 10 yards in front of him. Maybe dribbling with the ball was very difficult for Andre Garcia today. Defensively, I thought he was pretty sound and pretty solid, but everything else on the pitch seemed like a struggle for him. I thought Lewis Wing was poor as well today. Maybe could have won the game in the 90th minute for Reading when he had a long range strike which was saved in the goal by Exeter, but apart from that, I thought he had a pretty poor game, and really, I thought Reading overall were just poor. Attacking wise, there's no fluidity, there's nothing going forward. Defensively, Reading have been a lot more solid, don't get me wrong, but going forward, Reading attacking wise just have no momentum and no fluidity, and I'm going to be honest, no potential about them. I think Reading's attacking free at the moment is, there's no option that screams out to me, yes, this is going to be good, if that makes sense. Billy Bowden's on loan from Burton Albion. Yes, he had a decent performance in that first 45, but second half fell off, and that's why he was substituted off. Adrian Ekande so raw and only just coming back from an injury, so nothing really screams out great there. Kelvin Hebatchman can make it work, but at the same time, it's been pretty poor for the majority of the season when he has been injury-free. Up front, Jaden Wareham, again, doesn't scream massive amounts of potential up front and a massive goal scorer for Reading. Does do the business, yes, but again, it's really difficult to find out where these goals are going to come from for Reading, and I think that's the thing we're struggling with most at the moment. Defensively, we look solid. Going forward, we look quite poor, and in that second half, that was the case. There were some weird handbags as well towards the end. Tyler Bindon went down in the box right at the end, and the Exeter player kind of stayed on top of him. And then at the end, there were some weird handbags between the whole benches and the whole teams, and everyone just piled in there and scenes you don't want to see at the end. But fortunately for Reading, they were frustrated, and look, Exeter really should have come away with the win, if we're being honest. That's probably why Reading were frustrated. In terms of positions, though, going forward now, Reading are up to 8th following Leyton Orient's loss this evening. Reading were climbed a position up in the table, but unfortunately are now 4 points behind the playoff positions. I think it might be 4, might be 5. I'm not looking at it right now. But Huddersfield are the team that currently occupy that 6th spot following their loss at home to Wrexham and Charlton's 2-1 or maybe 3-1 win over Barnsley. So they've now leapfrogged them. And they are the ones that are, well, in the driving position now for the playoff spots, with Huddersfield now sitting on the edge. Bolton also picked up a massive victory over Birmingham today, so they are now, well, 3 points or 2 more points in front of Reading than what they were previous. So, look, it's going to be a struggle for Reading to make the playoffs. I thought today was a massive game, but if they want to make the playoffs, Crawley is a must-win at the weekend, and then the Wrexham game is a must-not-lose. So, that'll be interesting going forward, like we said. Expectations were always going to be eased for this season. Maybe we get a little bit excited when we get a few wins together, but no, we got to remember the main goal of this season was just survival, really. That's going to be it for this one today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been James, and we'll see you all again very soon. Cheers for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.